Hello everyone. Now I am going to discuss to you some of the topics in digital communication, specifically the types of communication system and the elements of communication system. Let's start. Introduction. The communication system is a system which describes the information exchange between two points. A communication system is a collection of individual telecommunication networks, transmission systems, relay stations, tributary stations, and terminal equipment usually capable of interconnection and interoperation to form an integrated one. The process of transmission and reception of information is called communication. The purpose of communication system is to transmit intelligence signal from a source to a destination at some point away from the source. As you can see, there are three major elements of communication: the transmitter, the channel or medium, and then the receiver. Next, types of communication system depending on the signal specification or technology. There are two types. The first is the analog. Analog technology communicates data as electronic signal of varying frequency or amplitude. In analog technology, information is translated into electric pulses of varying amplitude. The example of this analog technology is the broadcast and the telephone transmission. Next is the digital technology. Here in the digital technology, the data are generated and processed in two states, the high and low. In digital technology, the translation of information is into binary format, the 0 or 1, which each bit is representative of two distinct amplitudes. A well-known example of this digital technology includes social media, online games, multimedia, and even mobile phones. Both analog and digital technology carry information. The difference is how they store the signals. Both analog and digital technology carry information. The difference is how signals are encoded. In analog technology, waves or signals are stored in original form. However, in the digital technology, waves or signals are sampled at intervals and then converted into numbers before being stored in a digital device. Here is the other type of communication system, but this type of communication system depends on the communication channel. There are two types, the wired and wireless. First, wired. It includes parallel wire communication, twisted wire communication, coaxial cable communication, and optical fiber communication. The wired communication is a broad term that is used to describe any type of communication process that relies on the direct use of cables and wires to transmit audio and video. The second is wireless or space communication. It includes ground wave communication, skywave communication, and space wave communication and satellite communication. We're done with the type of communication system. Next is the elements of communication. First is the information. Message or information is the entity that is to be transmitted. Information can be in any form. It can be in a form of audio, video, temperature, picture, pressure, and etc. Next is the signal. It is the single value function of time that carries the information. It can be the information is converted into an electrical form for transmission. Next is the transducer, a device or an arrangement that covers one form of energy converts one form of energy to the other. So an electrical transducer converts physical variables such as pressure, force, temperature into their corresponding electrical variations. Next is amplifier. The electronic circuit or device that increases the amplitude or the strength of the transmitted signal. So, mm, when the signal strength becomes less than the required value, amplification can be done anywhere between the transmitter and the receiver. A CD power source will provide for an amplification. Next is the modulator. As the original message signal cannot be transmitted over a large distance because of their low frequency and amplitude, they superimpose with a high frequency and amplitude wave called carrier wave. So this phenomenon of superimposing of message signal with a carrier wave is called modulation. And the resultant wave is modulated wave which is to be transmitted. So modulation, there are three types of modulation: the amplitude modulation, frequency modulation, and phase modulation. Next is transmitter. It is the arrangement that processes the message signal into a suitable form for transmission and subsequently reception. So this transmitter increases the power of the signal through power amplifiers and also provide interface to match the transmission medium. It provides such as antenna interface, fiber interface, and so on. Next is the antenna. It is a structure or a device that is radiate and receive electromagnetic waves. So they are used in both transmitters and receivers. So continuation. Channel. A channel refers to a physical medium such as wire, cables, space through which the signal is passed from the transmitter to the receiver. So there are many channel impairments that affect the channel performance to a pronounced level. So these impairments are the noise, attenuation, and distortion. So we'll explain first the noise. One noise is one of the channel imperfection or impairment in the received signal at the destination. So there are external and internal sources that cause noise. The external sources includes interference. Interference from nearby transmitted signals, inference generated by natural source such as lightning, solar or cosmic radiation, from automobile generated radiation, and etc. So the internal noise can be minimized and eliminated by appropriate design of the channel, shielding of cables. Also by the digital transmission, external noise can be much minimized. Another problem is the attenuation. It is a problem caused by a medium. And when the signal is propagating for a longer distance through a medium, depending on the length of the medium, the initial power decreases. The loss in initial power is directly proportional to the length of the medium. So the using of amplifiers, the signal power is strengthened or amplified so as to reduce attenuation. Also, digital signals are comparatively less prone to attenuation than analog signal. Next is the distortion. It is another type of channel problem. When the signal is distorted, the distorted signal may have frequency and bandwidth difference from transmitted signal. So the variation signal in the signal frequency can be linear or nonlinear. Next is the receiver. It is an arrangement that extracts the message or information from the transmitted signal at the output end of the channel and reproduce it in a suitable form as the original message signal. So next is the demodulator. It is inverse phenomenon of modulation. So it is the process of separation of message signal from the carrier wave takes place in the demodulator. So the information is retrieved from the modulated wave. It is in the demodulator. Next is the repeaters. It is placed at different location in between the transmitter and receiver. So a repeater receives the transmitted signals, amplifies it, and sends it to the next repeater without distorting the signal. So thank you. I guess we're done. So stay tuned and please come back for the next discussion. Thank you.